Hello students, welcome. Here we are going to start a Python learning series that would be complete beginner to expert. We have designed this course in a particular way so that anyone can learn very easily. As it is complete beginner friendly course, so no prior knowledge for Python or knowledge for the programming is going to be needed. This course assumes that you know nothing about Python or any other programming language. The targeted audience who can learn Python, that going to be anyone that wants to learn Python from scratch and who are going to start learning for the very first time. The college students who wants to have better understanding, and the other one who wants to brush up their Python programming skills. You will learn the basics of Python that are going to help you like the understand everyday common functions applications, including like how to use Python as a calculator, understanding variables, data types, building Python list, and all. The first half of the course is going to prepare you how to use Python interactively, and it's going to teach you how to store, access, and manipulate the data using one of the most popular programming language in the world. The second half of the course is going to start with a view of how you can use functions, methods, and packages to use code that other Python developers have written. Python has plenty of existing packages and libraries that you can use to solve your problems. We are having some of the learning outcomes that we are going to cover up in the entire Python learning series. That includes like how to use Python interactively, how we can work with decision making, that is the if else structure and the loops, how we can work with functions, method, and packages, how we can perform database connectivity using MySQL and PyMySQL, how we can work with graphical user interface programming, that is using the Tkinter module of the Python. Here are the some snapshots, as you can see over my screen, that we are having two of the templates that we are going to make using the Tkinter module in the upcoming sessions. So let's first have a look about the training content, that is the course content that we are going to cover up in the entire Python learning series. First of all, we are going to start with the history of learning Python, like how Python was invented, how Python came across the market, and then how we have started working over the Python, how it becomes so popular and all. After that, we are going to have a look about the installation and the download part, how we can get it from the internet, how we can install it over our systems. We will be having an idea how you can install Python on the Windows machine. Simply, you can work over the MacBook and the Linux systems also. After that, we were going to learn the identifiers and keywords. Then we are going to understand how we can store the data into the container, that is variables in the programming language. Then we are going to have an idea about the Python data types, like the data that you actually want to store, what type of data it can be, like it how it going to work with integers, floats, how we can work with strings, how we uh, can store the heterogeneous kind of data if we want to store the multiple data at a single time, how we can work with list, tuple, dictionaries, and sets. That was all about the Python data types. Then we will move ahead using the to the next topic, that is the Python operators. Like if you want to solve any sort of expression, how we can work with arithmetic operators, relational, logical, bitwise, membership, and identity. After completing this first section, we are going to now start with the Python control structure, that is the main building block, in which we are going to have a look about the Python if statement, how we can work with if else statements, how we can work with else if in the case when we want to execute the multiple statements, how we can work with loops in order to perform the repetitive task, how we can work with while loop, how we can work with the iterative statement, that is the two statements that are available here, break and continue. One more statement that do exist here, that's the pass statement. After that, we are going to have a look about the eval, that is an important concept of the Python. Eval has basically two functionalities. We are also going to learn in the upcoming sessions. The first functionality is that how we can take multiple kind of user inputs, and secondly, how you can solve the multiple expressions using eval. After that, we are going to learn about the Python functions. That is how we can create the user-defined functions using def, that is the main building block, and how we can work with anonymous functions in Python, that is the lambda function, how we can work with higher order function, that is bar, filter, and reduce. After that, completing this sort of section, we are going to we are good to go to move to the next topic, that is the modules, that is the Python modules. See, whenever you are going to save your files in any of the Python file, that going to termed as that, like you are going to make a user defined module. So any file that you are working over is a module in Python, so the module can be predefined or user defined both. So we are going to learn how we can import the other user defined modules in some other modules, and what are the some predefined modules. So we will be having an idea about random and math module here also. After completing this sort of section, we are moving to the next topic, that is how we can work with exceptions and all in the Python. First thing, that is the exception, like how we can work with the errors. So in order to handle the errors, we are having try, except, and finally block, where final is the optional one. After that, we are going to learn how we can raise and handle the exceptions. After completing this sort of part, we are going to move to the next section, that is the file handling, like using the Python, how you can work with text or binary files, like what are the different file opening modes, how you can open the files in reading mode, writing mode, append mode, or delete mode. Right. After that, we are going to learn if we want to read some sort of data from the file, how we can perform the reading, how we can write some sort of content into the file, how we can delete the existed file. Right. After that, we are going to work with the graphical user interface using the Tkinter module that is available in Python. The Tkinter, whenever we will be working over the Tkinter, that is also going to help you if you want to create some sort of desktop based application, as in we have our system, we have Notepad available, right? And so the Tkinter has its own window, its separate window. So first of all, we will be having an idea like how to create a GUI window using Tkinter, then what sort of different Tkinter widgets are there in order to how you can create the labels, how you can create the entry boxes if you want to insert some sort of images, how you can work with that, how we can work with menu bars, how we can perform the login authentication using the Tkinter. So we will be embedded the previous learning inside the this part, like how we can embed or how we can combine the functions on the buttons, right? After completing this sort of part, we are good to go to the next topic here, that would be OOPS, that is object oriented programming structured language. So we will be first understanding here what is the history and what is the main benefit of using OOPS here, and what are classes and object, what is self in OOPS, so what are the some sort of OOPS features. So we will be learning encapsulation, abstraction, polymorphism, inheritance. Also we will be covering the inheritance in very deep dive, so that we can have the understanding about the types of inheritance, that is single level, multi-level, multiple, hierarchical, and hybrid inheritance. After completing this sort of part, we will be learning constructors, destructors, what is the difference between method overloading, overriding, right? And let me tell you one thing, that this entire part is not going to be using the theoretical conceptual view. It's going complete the practical exposure is going to be provided. So we will be having a hand-on experience using the examples, programs, and all. At the end of the course, we will be having the idea how we can work with database. So we will be working over the MySQL, that is structured query language, in which first of all we are going to have a look like how we can work with the installation part, how we can get it SQL on our local systems, what are the required packages available, how we can create the database, how we can create tables inside it, how we can perform some of the SQL queries, like in order to insert the data, in order to update the existing data, if you want to delete some of the columns, some of the rows, everything that we are going to perform here, right? At the last, we are going to perform database connectivity using Python, so that we can perform a successful connection using between Python and MySQL. So first of all, we will be having a look like what are the requirement analysis and what are the required packages so that we can get it on our system. So we will be using PyMySQL for this particular purpose, and after that we will be performing the CRUD operations, right? So this is going to be the entire Python learning outcome. So I hope the things as of now are clear. So it was just an introductory video, and after that we are going to start with the installation part in the Python. Thank you.